My name is Douglas, and this is my resolution tracker. And today I did not make it to the gym. I was supposed to have an hour-and-a-half meeting starting at 10 today. And we started the meeting probably around 10:45. And we were in the meeting for 3 hours instead of an hour and a half. It was good and productive, but it was a long time. And so once it was done, a good deal of us felt the need to go out and pick up lunch because we had worked through lunch during this meeting. And as a result, I was not really in the mood or mindset to make it to the gym and had work to complete for the rest of the day so that it wasn't a complete wash due to this super long meeting. These are all excuses, of course, but they're enough that it made it hard for me to consider making an effort to go to the gym. It does mean that I will certainly not make my resolution this week to go to the gym twice a week. But boyfriend and I talked about considering doing some workouts at home. And that to me would indicate a potential to revise the resolution instead of going to the gym twice a week to instead be to work out twice a week. And that resolves the issue I mentioned of my gym being downtown, meaning that it's difficult for me to work at the gym on the weekend. If I can do it at home, then it still qualifies as a workout. Another thing that I did today is I sat down to put together a proposal for my choir for some organizational changes. This, to me, fits the resolution to write once a week, because even though it's rather mundane and not necessarily something that fits the creative element of the kinds of things I was considering, it does involve crafting a form of communication. And it's something that I'm rather proud of. I'm not quite finished with it yet, but I imagine I'm going to finish it tonight. The idea that I had is to produce a proposal for several committees. At the moment, we don't really have standing committees, and we form ad hoc committees kind of here and there. And the idea that I had is to produce several standing committees that can do a lot of the business that right now the board of directors is called upon to do. And that makes it challenging for the board to continue to move the choir forward if they're caught up in the smaller things that have to keep the choir running. So I'm producing this proposal to recommend committees like a membership committee that exists to enhance the members' experiences and to run social events for the membership, which are things that we don't do a lot of. Another committee I considered is a finance committee. I did a lot of research on other choirs in the country and the kinds of committees that they have, and a great deal of them have finance committees, which basically manage the budget. Now, we have a treasurer who's very good at managing the budget, and so it's not to replace what she is doing, but to enhance and simplify it, hopefully. It's part of the idea. Another thing that a great deal of these choirs had is a development committee, and that's a group that is focused specifically on fundraising. We right now have a development associate who works for us and manages our relationships with people who provide us with grants, and it's primarily what they do. But a development committee can assist a development associate with that, as well as with soliciting and maintaining relationships with donors. And so these are the kinds of things that I researched, which means that there's a lot of work that I put into it and a lot of pride that I can have in putting together a really valuable proposal. One thing that concerns me is that I'm going to put this all together, submit it, and then have it pretty much ignored. Part of the reason is we're not a big group, and so it's difficult to add infrastructure to a small group of people. That makes it difficult for them to consider saying, well, we'll make these enormous changes to the way that we run in this little group. But my thought behind it is, one of the things that we're always challenged with is getting people to step up. And it's hard for a small board of directors to come up with the many kinds of things that the choir needs. But when you ask someone to fulfill a small task, it allows them to feel like they're stepping up and helping in some way. And if you ask them for something specific, it's a lot easier to find someone to say, oh, that's something that I can do, instead of just saying, we need help with all these things. Can anyone help us with things? So that's kind of the philosophy that I have behind putting this proposal together. Wish me luck in having it at least partially accepted by my board. This has been my resolution tracker. I'll see you tomorrow.